Welcome to Organizational Sherlocks, the podcast where business meets psychology and your organizational puzzles meet their match.
Join us for captivating stories and practical solutions to unravel your toughest challenges.
I'm Dr. Elizabeth Fleming.
And I'm Morgan Ashworth, your guides to a prescription for business success.
Let's dive in. Well, hello, Morgan. How are you?
I am doing well. So for our listeners out there, we have an exciting guest. Elizabeth, you want to introduce her?
I'd love to. Absolutely. Well, Sue Ginsburg is, I feel like I say this all the time on the podcast, but someone I've known for quite a while and has been a pretty epic networking friend of mine for a while. She is with Intrycks, based in Minnesota, but working across the nation. So I don't think I can do it justice introducing and sharing all that you do with Intrycks, but Sue, welcome. And we'd love to hear a little bit about you and kind of what makes you you and what do you do every day?
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here and excited to be able to hopefully share some marketing ROI budget tidbits to everybody who's listening. A little bit of background on me. I have been in marketing for many, many years, mostly the marketing planning, marketing research, marketing strategy side of it. And of course, as more and more marketing has gone online, so has my experience and expertise. And in the last 5 years, I've been working with Intrycks, a digital marketing company whose expertise is in design, building websites, and search engine optimization, or SEO, to get found online. So it's been great to be right in the middle of this online fiesta for everybody who does marketing, and really interesting for me to work with so many different types of clients and get to know them, get to know their business. And I feel like it's a real honor to be able to help them get more sales, get more customers, and grow their businesses online.
Yeah. I imagine it's changing every day too. I've been having a lot of conversations with people about AI recently and how that's kind of infiltrating the business world and academia and all of it. So I imagine it's just kind of learning things new every day.
It is.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Yeah. Now, I know our listeners are probably remembering our last episode. We talked about how we were actually going to dive down a little bit into the financials of maybe a specific area of a company. And I think Sue's going to be a great help when we look at marketing. One, marketing is so interesting to talk about in general because there are so many ins and outs. There's a lot more creativity, I feel like, that goes in marketing, especially marketing strategy. I'm a strategy person myself, business strategy across the board. And so I'm so excited to learn more from you, Sue.
It's great. I hope that it is something that'll be interesting and useful to you and everybody else listening.
I know we only have a certain amount of time, but why don't we get into it? Elizabeth, why don't you start us off with some questions for Sue?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe we'll just kind of start at the beginning. I know that, working with so many different clients, I'm sure you hear a lot of different things like, well, that doesn't quite fit in our marketing budget, or, oh, we only have this amount of money, or whatever it may be. And I'm curious if when you think about kind of a budget for marketing, what comes to mind and what have been some of the experiences you've had in kind of navigating that financial world?
It's a great question, and one that will be interpreted differently by everybody who is listening to this conversation. When I think about the questions that I get asked, it is often about the marketing budget. And when I have a conversation first with any business owner, I ask them what is their marketing plan and what is their marketing budget, or what is included in their marketing budget. And of course, that varies across the board, but I will tell you the basic components of a marketing budget, and I'll break it down into online marketing and offline, because I think that's pretty much how everybody is looking at marketing these days.
Absolutely.
So for the online, it would include website build and maintenance, SEO, paid ads, social media and social media advertising, email marketing, and content marketing, which could be blog posts, it could be webinars, it could be a lot of different things, all that end up being content online. For the offline, the more traditional, we have market research, PR or public relations, events and sponsorships, branding and design, CRM or customer relationship management tool, and then training development of your team. And depending on the business, it doesn't need to include all of these things. These are just the different components that may or may not make it into a marketing budget. When I was thinking about what I would want to know if I was a business owner listening to this conversation, what I thought would be helpful is, or the next question I would ask is, how do I choose which marketing tool will work for my business?
Certainly.
And if it's okay with you, I'd like to go on and talk about that a little bit. If you
Absolutely.
think.
Yeah, of course.
So marketing means different things to everybody out there. And no matter what your business is, there's certain things to consider when you're putting together your marketing budget. Most of all, who's your target audience? Who are you trying to reach? And what is their behavior? In other words, where do they go to find information about your services, or where do they go for information? That's the biggest thing to look at, because you want to be where they are. And you'll hear me say that again and again, but if your customer base is on Facebook, then you want to be on Facebook. If your customer base is online, just searching around, then Google is your best bet. Anyway, that's the most important. Then we have industry trends to look at, which will also be helpful to know. There's competitor activity. Everybody knows who their competitors are and has seen or can find out what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Your company size, which will affect your company marketing budget, the overall marketing goals, and a mixture of all of these things will help you think about and identify what should go into your marketing budget. I can talk about best practices a little bit.
Sure. Before you do, though, I want to jump in really quick because, Sue, one of the things we've talked about before is this idea of consumer psychology and kind of how that all plays. And I feel like you're really kind of helping us tie some of our episodes together, right? Because all of us have different behaviors, and knowing what that is. If it's okay with both of you, I'm just going to share a quick example of a buddy of mine he's a statistician, right? I think that's what he's called. And gosh, I hope he's not mad at me if I say it's wrong. Anyway, but he one time said to me, well, you probably like a large Americano from Caribou Coffee or Starbucks coffee or whatever it is with almond milk and all these things. And I was like, how do you know that? And he goes, because you're the person that he gathers all of the consumer data, right? And then they target their marketing to people like me, right? People that are in my age group, that live in my area, that buy the same shoes that I buy. And I just think it's amazing. And that speaks to what you're talking about, which is know your audience, right? And market to them. Yeah,
exactly. And in today's world, the sophisticated marketers are so good at determining the customer journey and where are they in their buying decision and who are they? And like you said, putting together the profile and the demographics of their ideal customer and then getting to know everything about them so they can talk to them, well, find them first of all, and talk to them and engage them in a way that'll be interesting for the customer, and the customer will want to know more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That actually also makes me think of, when you're targeting the right people. We have an organization that we work with, went to their trade show, whatnot, and, none of them are online. They're all like paper people. So also sometimes you have to look at those more traditional routes of marketing, less of the online marketing, because if your targeted audience, your targeted customers not online, why would you market online? Because honestly, I feel like, there's definitely costs to either side. I feel like there's that physical cost associated with mailers. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, to really get out there online, sometimes it's a higher cost anyway. So why waste the money there when you can put it into mailers?
It all comes down to where is your audience looking, and that's where you need to be.
Yeah, I do like how you also mentioned, though, it's like also like the company goals. You could be targeting a new type of industry. You could be targeting a new audience. Right. Maybe you have to change the way you market. So not just the location you market, but the way you market. So maybe the terminology that you use is a little bit different. Maybe you have a different tagline for that group of individuals, right?
Absolutely. You are 100% right. That's right.
Yeah. So
And also, a lot of times also, you have more than one target audience. We have a client who is a soccer organization, and we're targeting the kids who are up to 15 years old, and they're definitely online. And we're also targeting the parents. So you talk to each one of those in a different way and in a different place, and you want to get your message heard and understood, and doesn't always come across the same way to all parts of the audience.
Yeah, to the kids, it's about having fun and being with your friends. To the parents, it's about getting their kids active and outside and off the screen.
I'm laughing because that couldn't hit home more enough.
Elizabeth feels that with her kids at home, I'm sure.
I sure do.
It's good. It's good.
Okay. So Sue, I do have a question for you. I know some organizations, they're a little scared to touch in and start really, creating a separate budget for marketing or to really invest into it because maybe they haven't seen the ROI in the past, but potentially they haven't seen the ROI because they haven't partnered with the right firm or they haven't done they haven't been targeting correctly. So how would you advise those companies to get back into the marketing realm? Would you advise them to what would you advise them to do to, relay their concerns a little bit?
Well, look at the alternative. If you don't market, are people coming to you? Do they know about you? Are they interested in your business enough to chase you and find you? And most likely in almost every industry out there, the answer is going to be no. I mean, if you want business, you need to do something to market yourself. Whatever that looks like and whatever is right for you is what works for your business. But pretty much, I was telling a company that I was talking to earlier this week who has a brand new product. They're a brand new business. And we were talking about different marketing options. And pretty much what I had to say to them is, if you build it, they will not come. I mean, if you build it, you might be thinking that's all I have to do. Well, nobody knows about you. You need to let people know that you exist, where they can find you, and give them a reason to even look for you in order for them to be interested and go out and read about you.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people have seen these ads, but that kind of reminds me of, there was a kind of startup that now there's like a lot of those overseas companies that have like a cheaper amount of clothing, yada yada. I think a lot of people know about Shein. They know about those types of companies. There's a new one called Temu. I don't know how to say it.
Right.
And I remember seeing a couple ads here and there, and I was like, "What is this? Is this just like another version of Shein?" And it totally is. It really is. But they have marketed so much that I'm pretty sure they're taking over. Like they're probably have not yet taken over Shein because Shein knows more in that realm of the true like commercial type of shirts and whatnot. But they're going to take it over with the amount of marketing they do comparative to Shein.
Now, what I would say on that, Morgan, is yes, they are saturating the market with their marketing. I don't know how well it's being received. Yeah. There's some people who don't react well to being intensely marketed to like that. And because they've continued doing it, you would think that they are getting a good ROI on putting that much out there. Only whoever's in their company looking at their ROI and their budget knows what that is.
Yeah, I'll say I've seen more people kind of like rating it on videos and on social media. Like I've definitely seen more people actively talking about Temu than they had been. They must be super excited that we're talking about it right now. But it's an idea, like I don't like it in my face. I don't really shop online that much. I'll be honest, because I don't want that type of manufactured product. I want something better, more quality for myself. But it's funny that you talked about, people don't like that in the face, the door in the face type of marketing. Right. And we had a conversation about that before. You got to know your person and you shouldn't be sending them 10 emails a day.
Right.
For the most part. Well, back to what somebody who is concerned about marketing and what do they need to do and why do I need to include it in a budget? I will also say that marketing is an investment. It is not an expense. It is not something that you pay for and then it goes away. The whole idea of good marketing is to get a positive ROI on it. And that's its purpose. That's what it drives. And that's the reason you choose the different tools that you do. In the conversations that I have with business owners, when we start to talk about what the investment is in either a website build or an SEO, I am very quick to say to them, how many new customers do you need in order to make this a positive ROI? And our discussion is not about the number, it's all about ROI and what do you need to get a positive ROI?
Yeah.
Just like any other investment.
Yeah, if marketing's looking like an expense, you're not doing it correctly.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. And so I love to hear that you say, like, what would you need? Like, how many customers would you need to see come and purchase from your customer and from your company in order to be an ROI? Not necessarily that money based, not how many sales you have to make, but how many customers do you have to get? And that's something that I don't hear a lot of marketing firms say. I'll be honest. We've worked with external marketers before, and they were doing social media ads, and they were doing nothing for us. They weren't targeting anything. Not a single lead came out of them after months. And I was like, this isn't correct. I'm like, are you not marketing correctly? Are you targeting the geographic locations you said you were going to? Are you targeting the correct types of individuals? Like, we had these conversations, but I'm like, you're not reporting on it. You're not following up on it. You're not telling me how many click-throughs I'm getting. And it's just not being successful. It's an expense. There's no ROI going on right now.
Well, then it's time to make a change is what I would say to that.
Absolutely.
You need someone that's on the cusp of marketing, someone that's always learning like yourself.
Well, back to the person who is just starting out, some rough guidelines and best practices for a B2B business, today's day and age, 2024 timestamp. Marketing is considered, or a good marketing budget is considered to be 10 to 20% of the overall budget. And of that, online is generally 40 to 50% of that. I mean, we all know how much we're online and how much we rely on our searches and everything else. So that isn't too surprising. That's for B2B. For B2C, it's a little bit less. Marketing is 5 to 10% of the overall budget, with online being 50 to 60% of that. And again, go where your customers are. So think about, are they looking for you online? And we even get more granular than that and say, are they looking for you on their cell phone or on a mobile device, which more than 80% of consumers are these days? Are they looking for you on a desktop? There are variations in things that we as SEO experts do there too. And this is important for us to know. The great thing is that all the metrics that are available will give you the information that you want. And Morgan, I love to hear you say, you were asking, why aren't we getting clicks and why aren't we getting phone calls, or whatever your call to action was. That's what it's all about. When we talk to our clients about ROI, we can and we do share metrics with them on the important factors that SEO can drive. Website traffic, where are they coming from? Which landing pages are they going to? Are they filling out the form and submitting your form online or on your Google business profile, which is what we all see when you do a search on your phone, which most people do. How many calls are coming in directly from that? How many people are going to the website? Where are they going on the website? The metrics that are available today are so incredible if you look at them. We are very, very metric centric because we have access to Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and a bunch of other ones that we subscribe to because they give us the information we need to make smart decisions. Most of the business owners that I talk to, initially, I ask, who's looking at metrics? What are your metrics telling you? And they say, nobody's looking at them. I don't even know where they are. That is number one mistake in marketing. You have to track what your investment is, line that up with what your goals are, what success means to you in real life, and see what it's doing for you, where you're getting the traction, and do more of that or switch it around. We also tell our clients, I can share marketing metrics from what we're seeing in the digital world. The real success for the client and for us is, what does success mean for you in real life? Does that mean number of phone calls? Is that form submitted? Is that number of people coming through your door? Is that revenue? Is that new business, new leads? What does that mean? And how are you going to track that? Because that's what I want to know is changing and increasing every month. Our way of doing that is SEO, but the ultimate success is what success for them is, and that is their business is growing.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about, I mean, seeing like the ROI, right? It's realizing and seeing in real time the impact that the energy and the time and the money and all of that is going to, right? And yeah, I've definitely sat in conversations where people say very similar things like, well, I don't know. Like I'd like to grow my business. Okay, but well, what does that mean? What does that look like? You know, and often I go to this kind of the magic question of, you know, if, and this is true in my world too, it's not even just in marketing, but in, you know, leadership development and assessment and all that. You know, if you were to wave a magic wand and everything would be the way that you hope it would be in 6 months, what would that look like? Like, tell me, what would that look like if I were a fly on the wall? What would I see? What metrics would I be looking at? And what would that feel like, right? Because we're also human and all of us have emotions, right? And there's a big emotional component to marketing. There has to be, right?
Yeah, remember that goal is it determines how aggressively you have to put in time, energy, and money, whether that be training and development or marketing. You know, if you want to see your sales jump a couple million in a couple months, that's a lot of aggressive marketing you have to do. You better have some new people on your team that have no sales under their belt right now, and they're ready to take them on, or customer service reps ready to help those going on an online e-commerce portal, right? So definitely those metrics and that magic wand, they go hand in hand. I mean, how do you measure return on investment if you don't know the money you spent versus the money you got from it?
Right.
So true. If you want, I can talk about what the key metrics are for measuring ROI of marketing initiatives largely online, because with SEO, that's what we are looking at. But some of them also apply to in real life, is what I call it, or offline success.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect transition to
great
metrics. Might as well learn what the metrics are too.
Key metrics that we look at for measuring ROI for SEO or search engine optimization, which also mean these are the things that we are working on driving increases for: website traffic to your website, forms submitted. We put a form on the website. Most businesses have some kind of contact us form on the website. Page views, and then which page views, phone calls, both from your Google business profile directly, and then just talking to the client, asking them number of phone calls. I mean, they get it from their phone company and they can track that and see what's happening. Keyword ranking. Keyword is a term that means the word that your customers are typing into Google when they're looking for something that they need information on or they want to buy. Keyword ranking is who's showing up number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on when people put in that specific keyword. And keywords are an integral part of search engine optimization and really any online marketing, because you want to capture the people who are searching for those words that you can deliver on. So we have extensive metrics on keyword ranking and the geography of it. And that's something really important, because in SEO, the goal is to show up online, to show up on top, and to show up in the top 3, which are the ones that get the most clicks. So that's what keywords are. Also, where you're showing in searches, like I just said, are you showing number 1, 2, or 3, which are the ones that get the most clicks? Are you showing on the first page? And what do we need to do to move you up higher? For offline marketing or well, in real life or non-computer marketing. Some of these also apply, plus some others. It may be if you're having an event, it could be traffic to your event. And what I would say is offline marketing can generally be much more difficult to create metrics for and track. But knowing the importance of tracking these metrics, which is basically saying, is my marketing into this event or this marketing initiative working or not? Even if you have to be creative, it is so important to identify something to track that means success to you, whatever that is. Or consider investing in marketing that you can track for ROI. If you don't, if you don't have anything to track, how do you know if it's working or not? You don't know if it's working or not. Why are you investing in that?
Yeah.
It's not an investment, it's an expense at that point.
You're right.
I always say that. I'm like, if it's not an investment, it's an expense. But everything should be oriented to being an investment. There should be a strategy behind it. I drive strategy. You will hear me say it over and over again. I love doing strategy of companies. That is what I do. That is what I consult for. Elizabeth's my girl when I really want to bring in some psychometric testing and some well-established psychological principles. But strategy. So Sue, I actually have something interesting for you to think about. I'm sure you've seen it. Maybe you're someone that recommended events do this, but events, including trade shows, conferences, we actually have seen a change. So, we used to track by using spreadsheets and whatever else we could use, grabbing business cards, who comes to the booth if we're at a trade show. Now a lot of trade shows have come out with software where you actually take pictures of people's badges and you already have their contact information. Or they have kind of like pre-scheduled appointments through the trade show. So what do you think of that? And do you think that's a good way to track, or do you think that there is a more optimal way to do that, the traffic at the booth?
I think it's one way to track, and I would be more interested in what are they doing once they get to the booth? Are they just passing by and getting some free M&Ms and whatever else you're giving out, or they actually engaging in conversation with somebody there, asking questions, getting a demo, and seriously looking at how it can be applied to their own business? That is what I would say. And as long as it's not annoying, in this day and age, people are used to QR codes, and if that's what they have on their badge and somebody's taking a picture of it to see who they are, it isn't as invasive as that would have been 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, where people would have been, why are you taking a picture of my name badge?
I think a lot of people are also like, here, take a picture. I'm really interested. And so it's like those name badges, if you get a picture of it or you get the QR code, you scan it with the trade show app, say that's what they have, then it's a really cool way to know that this is a qualified lead. Of some sort.
Exactly.
Pictures of the QR code of the badge that someone that's just walking by and grabbing M&Ms might not be a qualified lead. Maybe that's a note you write with that picture.
Right.
That's right.
I saw something today that, like business cards, like physical business cards too. I mean, I have them, but not everyone does, right? Like they're going kind of more to a digital route where it just automatically gets populated into your phone, whatever it may be. But I saw one today. It's a bracelet that you wear and people just tap it to their phone or to the other person's phone, and it just gives them the contact information. And I think all of those are, creative. I got to say that. And also the ROI of all of that effort and buying that wrist or the wristband and the app at the trade show and all those things, like the ROI for folks really, in my mind, is dependent on if you follow up with those people, because I think there's so many organizations that just simply don't follow up, right? Maybe they have the best intentions. And Sue, I'd be curious your perspective on this, but if you get people who are filling out your form on your website, right, and saying, hey, I want to know more information, or I want to do a free consultation or whatever it is, and you don't follow up with them, it just seems like that would be more detrimental, not even just beneficial, it'd just be detrimental to your business. And I'm curious if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And what I would say to that is you do not want marketing to make a negative impression. And if, in the case that you just said, somebody asks for information and they don't hear from you, that's what I would say is a negative impression. Don't put something out there unless you can deliver on it and deliver in a positive way, whatever it is. If it's a guarantee or if it's a free offer and then it never comes in the mail or whatever you put out there, don't just think about it as something that is words on the website. People take that seriously. And if you don't deliver on that, a negative impression is much harder to overcome than neutral or no impression at all. I mean, you really want to focus on the positive impression and delivering on that. And I'll give you an example of that. When we are doing our keyword research, the keyword spreadsheets that we share show the number of searches done on that keyword in the past 30 days. And we always caution our clients, you don't want to just take the most heavily trafficked keywords. You want to make sure that you can deliver on them. Because if you are showing up in searches for something and people are coming to your website and they're looking for UGG boots and you sell sneakers and not UGG boots, you will be leaving a negative impression. And that is far worse than them not knowing about you.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And that almost, to me, Elizabeth, sounds like a sales process issue or a marketing customer service process issue where there's not someone following up on those leads. There's not someone following up on that contact form. It can't just be a marketing strategy. It also has to apply to the sales strategy or the sales plan. You need to make sure that those processes and the plans are interconnected.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's why we see sales and marketing oftentimes under the same umbrella in a company. For ours, funny enough, it's not. The sales team's aware of what's going on and the sales managers involved and the directors involved, but the otherwise marketing is separate because sales reps sometimes want to give too much information.
Yes. Interesting. It's also very much parallel experience to not looking at metrics. Like the information is there.
Yes.
You need to look at it and do something with it, or why even ask for the information at all?
Yeah. That's exactly where I was going with that, Sue, because I'm sure that you have plenty of folks that you work with that have all the best intentions and maybe just don't utilize the service as well as they could.
If you don't have somebody who's on that and responsive quickly, then don't even put that offer out there, whatever it is. I have a great example of something that shows how the insights that you can get from online marketing can very quickly turn into new business if that's something that you think people would like to hear. Okay, so we work with a lot of dental clinics, and during COVID, when most of them are shut down or all of them are shut down, except for emergencies, in looking at the metrics for one of our dental clinics in Minneapolis, we noticed that there were a lot of searches in the dental industry being done on teeth whitening. I don't know why. People thought, I'm home, I guess I can whiten my teeth, whatever. We talked to the dentist and asked if we could focus on teeth whitening. That was something that he offered. And he said, yeah, why not? Which we did. And in the next 3 months, he ended up getting 8 to 10 new patients a month for teeth whitening, which who knows if they stayed, brought their family and friends in, whatever. They had a good positive experience because he could deliver on what they were searching for.
Right.
And that was big growth for his business. And the reason that we knew that is because we were looking at metrics. Who's coming to your website? What keywords are they coming on? What are they looking for? And what can we do to attract more people like them?
Yeah, it's like see what's out there in the industry, see what's wanted, see what's you're looking for. And if it's a service you can provide and you are open to providing, like teeth whitening, it's sometimes just teeth whitening is just part of the regular dental business. It's just, hey, your teeth are looking kind of yellow. Like clearly something's going on. I know I've had conversations with my dentist and they're like, do you drink caffeine? Which I didn't at the time. Now I do. But they're like, do you not drink caffeine at all? And I'm like, no. They're like, we can tell from your teeth. And I'm like, so it's that type of ideas. kind of just integral to the process of being a dentist.
That's right. That's right.
But don't lie about your services either. That's super important.
Well, right. Don't go out there and say that you are looking for people who want teeth whitening and then say, we don't offer that, but we offer teeth cleaning. People don't like that.
Yeah, no, that's the negative effect. They get the negative perspective, just like if you're not following up.
No, you're absolutely right. And I'm all for, we are very transparent in what we share in our metrics, and not all companies are. Whatever business your business is, we only want to attract customers who want the services that our clients are delivering and are able to deliver on them.
Yeah. I mean, we've actually had situations where we've had competitors using our name in the back end of their.
Seen that.
And we've seen that a lot. And, if you have a trademark name of some sort, that's actually illegal to do too. You can't do that based off trademark infringement. And Google can be held liable if it's a Google account. Like they could be held liable.
It's a compliment, but it still doesn't, it's still not good. And we see that a lot also with some of our very successful clients, where a competitor will get a paid ad on their name. So then you're searching for the name of the business. Dazzle Cleaning Company is our client who has this issue, and you see a paid ad pop up, which is at the top of the page, and it's not that company. Now, most people will look and see that's not who I'm looking for, but if you're just looking quickly and you see it pop up, you'll click on it and it won't take you where you want to go.
Yeah, but then also, again, negative impression.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, yes, imitation is the highest form of flattery. We've all heard that. And I mean, we've had competitors copy our website, or use our name. But you know what? That means we're doing something right. Competitors tend to look at each other because that helps your marketing to an extent. You know what they're doing. But you just don't want to present yourself as though you're the other company. That's not good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll tell you about another client we have that our SEO was working very well, largely due to he's a lawyer and he has a law firm, and his goals, he was very specific with what he wanted. So that was very helpful to us because SEO can be very precise if the business knows what they want. So he is a lawyer, and he came to us asking us to help him shift the type of business that he was getting. He told us what kind of business he wanted because he had the most experience in that. It was the easiest for him. It was the most fun for him. He could do it quickly. It was profitable. And with SEO, we were able to shift who we were attracting to his website to be people with the challenges that he wanted. And how did we know that? By looking at the metrics. How did he know that it wasn't who he was getting? He happened to be a business owner who also looks at metrics, and he could see these are not people looking for the services that I want to provide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, again, you have to look at the metrics or have somebody look at the metrics and really get the insights that they are telling you if you want to get a good ROI on your marketing and have it do what you want it to do.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of companies, I feel like, look externally for marketing firms like yourself, because they might not have the expertise within metrics, numbers, statistics. But those firms do. That's why they exist.
Right. Well, most people don't even want to look at numbers that they don't have to, and business owners have hundreds of other things to do that they'd rather do than looking at the metrics in most cases.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say that's the thing about having worked with you guys in the past with Intrycks. It's not just about Intrycks interpreting the metrics. For me, it's about you Intrycks teaching me also how to interpret the metrics, right? I mean, I think it's both. It's not just like the investment is not just about what do I get out of it, that ROI, but I'm also personally beginning to understand things in a way that I didn't before. And to me, there's an ROI in that too, personally, as a business owner,
That's really smart. That's really smart.
Yeah.
Well,
I know I know we're kind of starting to wrap up on time, and if you have time, Sue, for one more question that kind of fits in line with what we're talking about, I'm just curious, if there are businesses that maybe, haven't really thought about, data-driven marketing strategies before, really haven't invested in them, and are maybe wanting to, but need to get some other folks on board. How would you recommend that they can begin to kind of foster a culture that really values data-driven marketing?
Excuse me. In this day and age, it's hard for me to imagine a business that doesn't. Very simply, it makes you money, it saves you money, it allows you to be more strategic and smart about decisions you need to make and changes you need to make. Why wouldn't a business be interested in looking at metrics?
Yeah. It's very compelling. I
feel like, to an extent, I feel like the moral of the story is something we always drive down, and it's be purposeful. Be purposeful with what you're doing so that you know that you're getting an investment on your marketing. And, learn the metrics, but do the work. You got to do the work to get the outcome that you and don't forget to look at the metrics.
I mean, I think that's the key thing. And I would say from our conversation, the one or two things that I would suggest people remember and possibly do something about. If you want to see the ROI from your marketing investment, upfront, decide which metrics you will track, review them regularly, and learn to understand what they're telling you so that they give you the insights that you want, and you can adapt, change things, do more of what's working, do less of what's not working, and go forward that way. It may sound overwhelming. Get help with somebody who can help you if you need to, but decide what metrics that you will track, set it up, and look at them. So that's the first thing. Also, I would say on a more general marketing subject, SEO in most marketing is not a one-shot deal like many people think. I always say it's like getting in shape. You get in shape by going to the gym. Once you're in shape, if you stop going to the gym, you're not going to stay in shape. And for a variety of reasons, SEO and marketing are like that too. It's a continuous initiative of finding people who are looking for your services at that point in time. And that can be a hard concept for business owners and others to grasp when they're thinking about, I have to do a marketing budget. Why do I have to do that? What's it going to do for me?
Yeah.
Is this an expense?
It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You need some delayed gratification.
Exactly. That is exactly right.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Sue, for joining us today on our podcast. We really appreciate it. I feel like this has been so insightful. And, as we kind of launch into our extra that we have every time, I think there'll be a lot of similarities in the words that we choose, particularly around being strategic and using insights and all of that. So I look forward to talking with you again very, very soon. And thank you again for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I hope this is really helpful. And anybody has any questions or anything I can help them about on getting an ROI on your marketing, happy to have a chat.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Well, this concludes another intriguing episode of Organizational Sherlocks. I'm Elizabeth Fleming.
And I'm Morgan Ashworth, reminding you that the journey to success is an ongoing investigation.
Stay curious, stay strategic, and keep utilizing insights to decode your business mysteries.
AKA metrics. Join us every Tuesday for your next Who Done It. This is Organizational Sherlocks closing today's case.
See you all next time.